gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. Our top story tonight looks at New York families scrambling for summer childcare as schools reopen later, while the city's draft plan aims to add nearly 86,000 homes in Queens by 2030. And later, the Empire State Building will glow pink for Dolly Parton. Over to you, Andre.
The Empire State Building will glow pink tonight, honoring Dolly Parton's legacy, with the illumination beginning at sunset and lasting until midnight across Manhattan's skyline.
City officials coordinated the pink lighting with the annual Dolly Parton tribute concert, ensuring the building's spire shines brightly for fans gathering at nearby Bryant Park.
The pink illumination is part of a broader citywide celebration, including special performances at local venues and a limited edition Dolly Parton playlist streaming on municipal radio stations.
We've plenty ahead, so stay tuned as we dive right into the news together for you New Yorkers tonight on this Tuesday. Here are our top stories. New York City schools will not resume until late August, leaving families scrambling for summer childcare while districts in Houston, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, and several Midwestern cities have already reopened. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
Parents across the borough are juggling work schedules and summer plans as New York City schools won't open until late August, leaving a 2-week gap where childcare options are scarce. In neighboring districts, Houston and Las Vegas classrooms welcomed students on August 10, Los Angeles followed on August 12, and Miami on August 13. Further east, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Denver only began on Monday, August 24, matching the city's timeline. The delayed start forces families to seek temporary care for weeks beyond the typical summer break, stretching budgets and stretching resources at community centers and private providers. Many are calling on local agencies for assistance as they scramble to cover the lingering summer days. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, Manhattan.
The city unveiled a draft fair housing growth strategy today, outlining a plan to add nearly 86,500 housing units in Queens by the year 2030. Officials said the target is designed to preserve a healthy vacancy rate and move the borough toward the fair housing goals set for all 5 boroughs. Queens currently faces a shortfall of roughly 1,300 vacant units, prompting the aggressive construction goal. The proposal breaks down the needed construction across neighborhoods, emphasizing transit-oriented sites and affordable unit requirements, and it proposes rezoning incentives and streamlined permitting to accelerate delivery. City Housing Commissioner Maria Torres emphasized that the numbers reflect a calibrated response to rising demand and demographic shifts. The draft will feed into a comprehensive strategy slated for release in October. Stakeholders from community boards to developers are expected to review the figures before final plan is adopted later this year.
The City Council gave the green light this month for the first expansion of street vendor licenses in decades, opening the door for dozens of new food and merchandise permits. Councilmember Morad Nauer said the move will broaden opportunities for entrepreneurs who line the sidewalks of Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. Permits are set to be issued later this summer, giving vendors a formal path to operate legally and access city services. Officials anticipate the new licenses will boost street-level commerce while keeping the existing permit system orderly. The expansion follows a January decision that cleared the legislative hurdle, and city staff are now finalizing the application process. Residents can expect more variety on the curbside, from tacos in the East Village to handmade jewelry in Bushwick, as the rollout begins in the weeks ahead.
Mayor Mamdani announced a new fast-track housing court aimed at tenants living in buildings with severe habitability violations, accelerating cases involving vacate orders, elevator outages, and heat or hot water failures. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Mayor Mamdani unveiled a new fast-track housing court aimed at tenants battling the city's most hazardous buildings. The streamlined process will funnel cases involving severe habitability breaches, such as court-ordered vacate notices, broken elevators, and repeated heat or hot water outages directly to a dedicated docket. City attorneys say the initiative slashes the usual waiting period, moving disputes from months to weeks. Building owners facing these allegations will receive notice of the accelerated schedule and must appear before a specialized judge within a set timeframe. Tenants filing complaints can now expect a quicker hearing, and the city hopes the measure will pressure owners to address chronic repairs before matters reach court. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, New York City.
The AMC Kips Bay 15 Cinema on 2nd Avenue in Manhattan is set to close its doors permanently by the end of this year. Management announced the theater will cease operations on December 31, 2026, ending a decades-long run on the East Side. With 15 screens and a historic marquee, the venue has drawn generations of cinephiles from Kips Bay to the Lower East Side. The location has been a staple for AMC Stubs members, offering the chain's subscription perks and loyalty benefits to neighborhood moviegoers. Officials said the decision reflects shifting market dynamics and the company's broader strategy, though they declined to detail specific financial factors. Employees will receive transition assistance, and patrons are urged to use their remaining Stubs credits before the shutdown. The closure marks the loss of one of the city's long-standing multiplexes, a reminder of the evolving entertainment landscape in New York. Up next, we examine the Rikers Island medical emergency, the 7th in custody death this year, and its reform implications. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. At approximately 5 a.m. this morning, a 41-year-old inmate died of a medical emergency during a tour of the Robert N. Davoren Center on Rikers Island. Correction officers responded after the incident was reported, but the man could not be revived. The Department of Correction confirmed the death, noting it is the 7th in custody fatality recorded at Rikers this year. Officials have not released further details about the nature of the emergency or any ongoing investigation. The incident adds to a growing tally of deaths within the city's jail system, prompting renewed scrutiny of medical care and oversight at the island's facilities. Mayor Eric Adams' office was notified and will monitor the case closely. The Department of Correction said it will cooperate with any external review and will release additional information as it becomes available.
A new state law restricting local police from assisting ICE with immigration enforcement took effect today, after passage by the New York legislature and opposition from Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
The new state law that bars local police from helping ICE with immigration raids has taken effect today, ending a years-long push to limit federal-local cooperation. Under the measure, officers across the state must refuse to honor ICE detainers or share custody of individuals solely on immigration status. The legislation, championed by the state legislature and signed into law, also shields undocumented residents from being handed over without a criminal conviction. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman praised the rule as a step toward community safety, while ICE officials warned it could hamper enforcement. Police departments are now reviewing protocols to ensure compliance while maintaining public order responsibilities. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, New York City.
2 women were killed today on Interstate 78 in Newark after a Mack tractor trailer overturned onto a stopped Chevrolet. State police say the truck driver swerved to avoid the stationary car, lost control and tipped onto the vehicle, crushing the occupants. The victims, identified as passengers in the Chevrolet, died at the scene despite emergency responders' efforts. The driver of the tractor trailer escaped serious injury and remains at the scene pending questioning. Investigators are treating the crash as a traffic collision and are reviewing dash cam footage and road conditions. The incident underscores the dangers on one of the region's busiest freight corridors, where high-speed traffic and sudden maneuvers can have fatal consequences. Authorities have not yet released a timeline for the investigation, but they said they will keep the public informed as details emerge.
State subsidies exceeding $320 million have flowed to data center projects in Rockland County, a figure that emerged in a report released this afternoon. The money, funneled through New York's incentive program, was directed to developers including CoreSite as part of a broader effort to lure high-tech infrastructure to the region. Governor Kathy Hochul, who has recently placed a moratorium on approvals for additional facilities, said the pause reflects growing concerns over energy use and community impact. Yet the disclosed subsidies underscore how far the state has already invested in the sector despite the current hold. Officials noted the funds were awarded over several years under existing eligibility rules. The contrast between the sizable financial support and the new restriction highlights the tension between economic development goals and environmental and planning priorities.
Queens Council member Phil Wong is pressing the city for a larger flood prevention budget as storm intensity escalates, citing recent borough flooding. He urges immediate adaptation measures. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Councilmember Phil Wong stood outside a flooded intersection on the corner of 108th Street, pointing to water still lapping at the curb. He told city officials that the borough's flood defenses, built for a climate of milder storms, are no longer sufficient. Wong urged the mayor's office to allocate additional funds for levees, storm water pumps, and green infrastructure, arguing that the frequency of heavy downpours has risen sharply over the past few years. He highlighted recent incidents in neighborhoods like Flushing and Jamaica, where basement units and storefronts were submerged after just an inch of rain. Wong said the city must act now to protect homes, businesses, and commuters from the mounting threat of stronger storms. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Queens.
Let's turn to our meteorologist for tonight's forecast so you can plan your evening.
A west-swept jet stream is sealing in dry air while pressure climbs, keeping tonight's sky clear. On this date, the city's all-time heat peaked at 91 degrees in 2021, a blistering mark set during a lingering heat wave that pushed nighttime lows into the 70s. The coldest reading came at 52 degrees in 2017, recorded amid an early-season Arctic air surge that surprised a typically muggy August. Normal high for late August hovers in the low 8s, while the average low sits near 65, so today's 79 high feels modest, and the expected 63 low is right on normal. The live radar is completely quiet across the metropolitan area, with no echoes of rain or snow. That emptiness reflects the high pressure that is building from the west and the fast westward jet stream at 63 miles per hour aloft, which is steering any remaining moisture out toward the Great Lakes. With the atmosphere stable and dry, we expect the clear sky to persist through the night and into tomorrow morning. At 6 p.m., the city sits under a clear dome with the temperature holding at 79 degrees and humidity at 50%. A light west wind of 9 miles per hour brushes the streets, and the pressure is rising, sealing in the dry air that the jet stream above, blowing west at 63 miles per hour, is sweeping away any lingering moisture. With the sun already set, the sky will stay cloud-free as radiational cooling drags the temperature down toward a low of 63 degrees by early morning. The UV index sits at 4, and the strongest gusts will only reach 12 miles per hour from the west, well below any advisory threshold. No watches or warnings are in effect, so the night remains calm and dry as we head toward tomorrow's overcast shift. Wednesday brings a high of 84 degrees and a low of 63 under an overcast sky, as a lingering trough pushes cooler air aloft. Thursday flips to a chance of rain with a 50% probability, the temperature easing to a high of 79 and a low of 68 as a weak frontal boundary slides eastward. Friday rebounds to a high of 84 and a low of 66, the clouds breaking into partly cloudy conditions as high pressure builds from the west. Saturday settles under another overcast layer with a high of 79 and a low of 66, while Sunday clears completely, returning to a high of 79 and a low of 66 under calm, dry air. The pattern shows a dip in warmth followed by a rebound, keeping the week in the mid-70s to low 80s. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates, a look at the pink Empire State Building tribute, and Yankees picks for Tuesday. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
All major routes are moving freely this afternoon. The FDR Drive, West Side Highway, and the Henry Hudson Parkway are clear from the Battery up to the Harlem River. I-95 through the Bronx shows no slowdowns, and the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway is running at normal speed from the Williamsburg Bridge to the Queens Midtown Tunnel. The Manhattan and Williamsburg bridges have no backups, and the Queensboro Bridge is flowing smoothly. No construction alerts are posted on the Cross Bronx Expressway either. On the transit side, the subway system and bus network are operating without any reported delays. Expect the typical evening build-up to start in about half an hour, especially on the Lincoln Tunnel and the Holland Tunnel as commuters head west. Keep an eye on the West Side Highway near the West Village later this evening, as traffic usually thickens there. Later, the FDR Drive near the East River may see a modest slowdown as trucks return to the ports. That's the current picture.
The Empire State Building will glow pink tonight, a bright tribute to Dolly Parton that turns the skyline into a sing-along beacon for every New Yorker who loves a good chorus. A pink beacon that lifts the night. Tomorrow morning, starting at 10 a.m., the city opens a ticket giveaway for the U.S. Open, handing out $100 tickets, your chance to catch world-class tennis without breaking the bank. Free tickets turn a tennis fan's dream real. This week, the Lower East Side becomes a sprint track, as the Nike Street Race pits locals against each other in 100-meter dashes for a $4,000 rent prize, a perfect excuse to lace up and feel the rush of competition. The prize sparks friendly rivalry on the block. And right now in Dumbo, a summer pop-up stall is serving paratha-filled hot dogs topped with chow chow, a tasty bite that captures the borough's ever-evolving street food scene. A bite that sings of summer streets. And now here's Desmond with sports.
Big games, roster moves, and community buzz shape New York's sports scene. Stitches model projects the Astros pulling off an upset in the Bronx, toppling the Yankees on Tuesday. The win would give Houston momentum heading into the final stretch while forcing New York to reassess its bullpen usage and lineup flexibility before the playoff push. Ben Rice's 2-run single in the bottom of the sixth sparked the Yankees' 8-run outburst against Toronto, their highest tally since a 10-run game in mid-August. His back-to-back at-bat of the week honors underline a surge in middle lineup production as the club eyes a late-season surge. Preseason missteps dropped Tyrone Tracy from the Giants' first-team rotation, moving him behind Cam Scatibo and pairing him with Devin Singletary and newly signed Najee Harris. Missed blocks and an unforced fumble raise questions about his role as the backfield battle intensifies ahead of opening week. Queens hosts the 4th annual Friends and Family Softball Game, uniting Mets fans, local creators, and community families as August winds down. The event offers a low-key showcase for grassroots engagement, setting the tone for a fan-focused season once school resumes in September. The Dominican Summer League Yankees concluded a disappointing playoff run, closing the minor league season on a sour note. With prospects now back in the organization, the front office will shift focus to evaluating talent for the upcoming spring training roster and long-term depth charts. New York Jets finalized their kicker competition, releasing Cade York and promoting former Dolphin Jason Sanders. Sanders' acquisition signals confidence in his leg as the team seeks stability after Nick Folk's departure, and the move tightens the unit ahead of the preseason schedule. Stay tuned. The city's sports story never stops evolving.
Thanks, Desmond. Veselka, the East Village institution that has fed New Yorkers with pierogies, borscht, and late-night coffee for decades, is stepping beyond Manhattan with its first location in Nashville. The beloved Ukrainian-American eatery announced the new spot this week, promising the same wood-burned dough dumplings and bustling vibe that made the original a neighborhood staple. By bringing its signature pierogies down south, Veselka shows how a local flavor can resonate nationwide, while giving the East Village a fresh badge of pride. The expansion also creates jobs and a cultural bridge, reminding us that the city's culinary heart beats far beyond its boroughs. That's why Veselka matters to New York. It turns a simple dish into a shared story, and now that story is traveling the country. Up next, the mayor's BQE repair plan that could disrupt Brooklyn Bridge Park. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Mayor Eric Adams is moving forward with a long-term repair of the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway's deteriorating triple cantilever, proposing a temporary highway that would cut through Brooklyn Bridge Park and affect weekend recreation. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Mayor Eric Adams is pressing ahead with a long-term repair of the aging triple cantilever section of the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway that runs along the Brooklyn Heights waterfront. The plan calls for a temporary detour that would route traffic through Brooklyn Bridge Park while crews stabilize the structure. City engineers say the cantilever is in poor condition, and a permanent fix is needed to keep the highway safe. Community groups warn the makeshift highway could shut down paths, playgrounds, and open-air concerts that draw families to the park daily. Officials assure they will limit closures to off-peak hours, but the timeline for the work remains unclear. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Brooklyn Heights.
A group of individuals climbed out of a manhole on West 31st Street and 7th Avenue near Penn Station today, echoing similar Brooklyn incidents earlier this year. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
A group of people climbed out of a manhole on West 31st Street at 7th Avenue, just steps from Penn Station. Bystanders gathered as the metal cover was pulled aside, revealing several individuals who walked onto the sidewalk. Police arrived quickly, securing the area and directing foot traffic away from the opening. Commuters waiting for trains paused, watching the unusual scene unfold. The incident comes after similar manhole emergence events that were reported in Brooklyn earlier this year, prompting city crews to inspect underground access points. No injuries were reported at the time. The manhole is now being resealed while authorities continue to investigate. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, Penn Station.
Thank you, New York City, for joining us on the local Sunset. From today's fast-track housing court giving tenants quicker relief to the stories that shape our neighborhoods, we appreciate your watchfulness. I'm Vivian Castellanos. Tune in tomorrow for more insight and conversation about the city we call home.